And we're back to discuss Ted. If you watched our review, we liked it all right. It was okay. It wasn't the worst comedy we've ever seen, but it definitely had some problems. I think we beat to death the issue that we had with it being a civil rights movie, and them not really being able to find a way to make that funny. To their credit, they did keep it a serious issue, but it seemed like every time it went there, the whole movie just sort of collapsed. And it was just, the stakes were too high. It was just too serious of a thing for you to continue to laugh at those scenes and enjoy those scenes. Mm-hmm. The judge they had in the first court that was like into the soul.
Gave him a fist pound and all that. Yeah, I mean, that was just ridiculous.
Like, did the ridiculous, I'll allow it.
Yeah, you're sitting there talking about civil rights and everybody's making jokes about it. It's very serious, especially today. Very, very serious social issue. And so that was more uncomfortable than anything.
Yeah, it's just really tone deaf. That's the problem. It's like there might have been like a month at one point in the last 10 years where this movie could have worked and been funny, but...
Well, I get that they were trying to... basically, this is ridiculous. We shouldn't be having this argument. Mm-hmm. Everybody should be equal. It didn't come off that way.
Yeah.
It came off as
it was sort of like they were trying to make it allegorical to, gay rights or any of the other social issues. But when they make jokes like they go and give bad suggestions at an improv show and they're throwing out like a location is Ferguson, Missouri, and
that was great.
Yeah. Like, they have ways to make those things work, and doing it in the courtroom and making the whole plot of the movie, whether or not Ted is property or not, isn't the way to do that. It's, it needs to be one scene. I will say, like, I did like that it just got going right off the bat. We dealt with the fact that Mark Wahlberg's character is single again. They wrote Mila Kunis out of the movie. He gets married before the credits, and then after the credits, it's a year later, and he and Ted and his girlfriend, or Ted and his wife, aren't getting along, and so they decide to have a baby. Like, that all happens really, really fast. But that credit sequence where they're just, like, doing the musical number...
It was straight out of Family Guy. Like, that was literally the Family Guy startup.
And it was lame. Like, It wasn't funny. It wasn't creative.
At the very beginning, I say the very beginning, right after the credits, they go straight into, like, a domestic violence joke. And that's incredibly uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. And after that, it starts to pick up a little bit, and then they introduce the court scenes.
Yeah.
And it was a very uneven movie. Like, at the beginning with the he throws a beer bottle at her, she throws a pan at him. I'm like, gosh, come on,
Yeah. Well, and they kind of forget. They kind of, like, run out of things to do with her, like, halfway through the movie, so she just doesn't go to New York with them.
Yeah.
They never give that character much to do in this movie.
I like I said in the first part, never saw the first movie. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if the first movie had cameos like this one had cameos. This one relied heavily on cameo.
Yeah.
Because some of the funniest scenes are cameos.
Yeah, it had them. And I don't think this was, like, overboard with cameos. Like, there were a couple at the beginning, and then there were a couple
well, again,
toward the end, but...
Well, I mean, was Flash Gordon and...
Flash Gordon's a huge part of the first one.
Okay, so that wasn't a cameo. Okay.
That's like a giant part of their relationship is that they love Flash Gordon and they try to go meet him. So
I guess that makes it seem like
that's
there were
what
less
that's
cameos.
about.
Liam Neeson. Freaking hilarious.
That was the best. I understand that the cereal is exclusively for children.
That was so awesome. Like, sometimes I watch this and I'm like, how did they get a serious actor to sign off on this?
He was in A Million Ways to Die in the West.
True, which we don't talk about. My favorite was Jay Leno.
That was amazing.
I thought it was great. It was over in a second, but it was hilarious.
Because Ted said the line, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, that's a outrageous line." And then Jay Leno walked out of the bathroom going, I'm sorry, I got the wrong idea."
Yeah, it was great, and almost kind of like Family Guy in the. He'll say something ridiculous and then the camera cuts away and you'll see it.
Mm-hmm.
But more believable because it's actually in the same area.
Yeah.
That was great. The cameos were good. Up until the end where Donnie actually confronts Ted and Ted knows who he is. I thought Giovanni Ribisi was a cameo. I didn't know he was a huge part of the first one.
Yeah, he's in the first one too.
The references to other movies, for most part, they were pretty self-aware.
Mm-hmm. For all the times that they called, because Amanda Seyfried's character is Sam L. Jackson,
Mm-hmm.
for all the time they called her Miss Jackson, I was shocked that they never did a "I'm sorry, Miss Jackson" joke.
Yeah. I'm surprised Samuel L. Jackson wasn't in it.
Yeah, that's true too.
Because you figure he would do anything. Gosh, what was this one? There was one part that was so great, and I'm trying to think of it now, and it's killing me. I can't remember his name, but the Tick.
Oh, Patrick Warburton.
Thank you. He was great. Him and Michael Dorn were excellent, especially in the Comic-Con scenes.
Yeah.
They were fantastic because...
That was funny. I just felt like they did that over and over again.
True.
Once they set him up.
True. But when you hear Patrick Warburton's voice, you just assume that guy sounds like kind of a jock dick.
Right.
And then he totally turns out to be one.
Yeah. Wash the floor. It comes up fast.
Yeah, exactly. You could totally hear his voice whenever anybody says that. You immediately hear his voice. That was great. Ted was a lot of fun. I loved the reference to Jurassic Park. I thought that was excellent.
They move in herds.
They do move in herds. It was there were some really funny points. It's going to be incredibly quotable.
Yeah.
Like if you go watch it, you'll be quoting it for weeks. I really don't know if I would waste the time to go see it in theaters though.
Oh, no, I don't think so. I mean, there's plenty of people that haven't seen the first one, and the first one's really, really good. I would recommend that first, and if you have to see the second one, see the second one, but it's, like I said, I mean, if it's the only Ted that came out, like if this was the only movie that there was, I would say it's a perfectly fine comedy. It's a letdown after the first one.
Which is the way with most sequels, especially when it comes to comedy.
It is, and it's not a complete disaster. It's not a total loss. So
Yeah, I thought that was it. Typically in comedies, the sequel goes completely overboard, way over the top.
Yeah.
And this was ridiculous without going over the top.
yeah, yeah. And if they had lost Mark Wahlberg, that would have killed it. Like, there are things that could have happened to this movie that would have made it not worth doing at all.
Yeah.
Losing Mila Kunis wasn't that big of a deal. It was kind of a awkward thing at the beginning, but it worked out.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's fun. It's definitely a lot of fun, and especially when you're sitting there watching a movie about a talking teddy bear, and you completely forget that he's a talking teddy bear. You just assume it's a guy that they're talking to.
Yeah.
That's fun. You know, getting lost in a movie is great.
Yeah.
And it doesn't happen often.
Yeah. So that's Ted 2. If you like the way we do these, please like the video, subscribe, check out all the written and video reviews at DaleMaxfield.com, and thanks for watching.